There was once a man named Felix, a cunning con artist who prided himself on outwitting the cleverest minds. He had tricked kings, merchants, and beggars alike, weaving elaborate schemes that left him rich and others ruined. But Felix was always hungry for a new challenge, and he had heard of a legendary treasure hidden deep within a jungle, guarded by creatures of the wild. He arrived at a great river, thick with mist, its surface barely disturbed except for the occasional ripple. He had done his research. Beyond this river lay the treasure. But he also knew of the river's two most famous inhabitants, a shrewd monkey named Jane and a cunning crocodile named Suri. Felix had fooled humans his entire life. Animals, he thought, would be no different. Perched high in the trees, Jane watched the stranger with keen eyes. The monkey had seen men before, greedy ones who tried to take what was not theirs. He knew their tricks, but this one thought himself untouchable. Felix, confident in his silver tongue, decided to befriend the monkey. He plucked a bright fruit from a nearby bush and held it up as an offering. Jane swung down, sniffing the fruit, but made no move to take it. Instead, he gestured toward the river, his eyes full of mischief. Felix smirked. He thought the monkey wanted a game. Jane leaped from branch to branch, leading Felix on a chase through the jungle. Felix, though not as nimble, kept up, his mind calculating every move. The monkey was fast, but Felix knew how to predict patterns. He watched the way Jane jumped, the direction he favored, and soon, he anticipated his path. Just as Jane seemed to be cornered on a low-hanging branch over the river, Felix lunged, only for the monkey to grab a nearby vine and swing effortlessly to safety. Felix, on the other hand, crashed through the branch, tumbling into the river below. The water was calm but deep, and as Felix surfaced, coughing and spluttering, he felt a presence beneath him. A slow-moving shadow glided through the water. Suri the crocodile watched as Felix scrambled toward the riverbank, his once pristine clothes soaked and heavy. Suri had seen men like him before, arrogant, always believing themselves to be the smartest. She let him believe he had a chance. Felix reached a cluster of floating logs and pulled himself onto one. He breathed heavily, his mind racing. He had been tricked, but he could still recover. Then the log moved. Felix froze. The log opened its eyes. Suri grinned, a slow, deliberate expression that sent a chill through Felix's spine. Felix leaped from her back, just as her powerful jaws snapped shut, narrowly missing him. He thrashed toward the riverbank, clawing at the mud, dragging himself onto dry land. His heart pounded. He turned back to see the crocodile sinking into the water, her yellow eyes just above the surface, watching. Felix sat in the mud, exhausted. He had lost his supplies to the river. His maps were gone, his confidence shaken. He looked up to see Jane, perched safely in a tree, chattering in what sounded suspiciously like laughter. Felix clenched his fists. He had spent years deceiving others, but here, in this untamed place, the trickster had become the fool. The monkey and the crocodile had no need for wealth or schemes. They lived by instinct, by understanding the land and reading those who entered it. They had seen through him the moment he arrived. Felix stood slowly, drenched, humiliated, but wiser. He turned away from the river, back toward the path he had come. For the first time in his life, he knew when he had been beaten.